got to decide. Am I going to have an open call or a closed call? Am I going to accept unsolicited, which is the 500 a month? Am I going to time it into cycles? Am I only going to focus on specific portfolios and focus areas? So my approach, is it proactive or reactive? So am I going to look for good NGOs myself, which means please don't approach me, please don't send a proposal, I will choose who I work with based on their results? Or I'm going to put out a closed, I only want to work in science and math. So I've identified the Math Center, the Science Center, ProTech, those kind of organizations. Those are the only ones I want to work with because I want to compare outcomes in a specific discipline, or I'm going to have an open. So in the period from, if my funding starts in February, in the period from September to October, open call, we're looking for proposals in health, prevention, or TB, and I'm looking for proposals in sports development, in soccer. So you define what you're looking for. This is the open call, this is the closed call kind of period, and then of course, there's a continuous process. And this is what grant makers are generally now battling with, which is why they're putting up. But nobody's told them you've got to be open 24 hours. I think it's an expectation we grew into because you in the office, you go to the office every day, so you know, the corporate expects you must be available every day. You're going to do all the jobs every day. But there's a lot of inefficiency built into that. So again, it's part of your funding guidelines about how you're going to go about and solicit these. I want to now go back to the case studies. Because I'm sorry if you can't see so well on the board, but you've got the slides in front of you. So this one is a community foundation, and you can see in your book right up front, they say, our theory of practice is, this is our objective. So it's not we want to change the whole world, no. We're looking at enhancing the quality of life in this community, in this area, in this region, and we're going to do it through cultural activities, very clearly defined. So if you don't operate in Katu, please don't phone us, please don't send us a proposal, because our focus is on Katu. And if you're not in arts and culture, because that is our primary focus, please don't contact us, please don't send it. So the point that I want to make is here, the clearer you are, the more efficient you're going to be. So they look at that. Then you can see here, they're very clear. They only fund public benefit organizations. You can also see here, this foundation makes grants to support creative and innovative. So one of their criteria they're going to apply in saying yes or no is innovation. Okay? So that's how they give you the guidelines. Here's what they say. On current or emerging opportunities, services not presently offered, and occasionally capital project, all of which should enhance the quality of life of the community. If you're not falling into those broad parameters, please do not approach us. They then go on to say, grants are not made in support of annual operating expenses. It does leave the door open for program-related expenses. Okay, can you see the distinction here? They go on and they say, especially interesting to us are projects supported by the coalition of service providers, those likely to gain support for matching funds, and those replicable in design. Okay? They go on to say applicant projects should not represent significant duplication of initiatives already undertaken. Okay? The request for crisis interventions, current budget support, elimination of deficits, reduction of debt, or funding of completed projects are generally rejected. Okay? Attention is given to the size of the segment of the population to be benefited from this. So they're looking for volume. They're looking for numbers. So the bigger your program, the more beneficiaries in your program, the less likely you are to get support. They're also saying projects of churches which have a narrow sectarian purpose are generally given a very low priority. Okay. Projects which have an immensical base and are designed to serve people in need of food, clothing, sheltering, counseling, without regard to religious affiliation, will be considered.
Sorry, then ecumenical?
Thank you very much. So it must be a representative program. So the reason why I want to put this up as a case study is because it's so different. This is an American one. So different to our current grant-making criteria. Because we just say, no churches, no individuals, no sporting events, no. But can you see the thought that went into this very clear, considerate kind of approach? They're not as obvious to say, we don't do sports development. No. What we prefer to receive are more innovative approaches for a larger section, and what we will and what we won't, and what will count for more and what will count for less. So this was for me a very good example of being a little bit more clear about what we will or will not fund. On that side, you will see, so here you can see, this is the way we're going to go about selecting programs to fund. On that side, oh yes, and then of course, I just want to draw your attention to this. The following practical matters will be considered: the intrinsic merit of the project, the past experience of organizations, the clarity and measurability of the project, plans to fund the project beyond the grant period, and the feasibility of the time frame. Can you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of guidance in a very nice way provided. So when you look at the grant-making cycle, it says there, agencies applying must complete a narrative proposal. So now they're starting to tell you how to approach us. They say the application packet must include a background and copies of the certificate. Be sure to include responses to the following questions about the purpose and the description of the proposed project, financial information related to the project. Why? Because there's a theory of change behind this. This is the narrative story we want you to send us, because this is the change we're looking for. The grant application, you see there, grants are made once per year during January, with applications proposals due by November the 15th. Right. If the applicant is not well known, or if aspects of the proposal are submitted clear, a representative may follow up with a personal site visit and or further questions. The completed proposals are thoroughly reviewed by the board, so the process of review is described. The committee makes its recommendations to the full board, which may choose to support or reject or modify. Okay? Grant recipients' responsibility. So they're telling you upfront what they're going to expect from you. You must sign an agreement including your willingness to use the funds awarded for the purposes requested. Okay? You must submit a final grant fulfillment report, that's the exit kind of report, by November the 15th in the year in which the grant is made. Okay? Give credit. This is now speaking to the marketing aspect we covered earlier. You must give credit to us in all media releases by you. You must give to us any money she didn't spend, which has never happened, ever.
Yeah.
But can you see the point that I want to make with this case study? The clarity, the consideration. It's not just what we will and won't fund. It's the process what we will fund. How are we going to make the decision? When will we make the decision? So please don't phone us before the 15th of November to manage that. It raises expectations, but it also sets expectations. Melanie.
What's missing for me is an average answer.
Yes.
Because the one point they made about giving credit to the foundation in all media releases made by the organization.
Yes.
You've got to give me a significant chunk of change before I consider that.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought there was another case study. Yes. Yes. No, it's not a perfect one. I'm not saying it's a perfect one, but I'm just saying it's so different to the current South African ones that we're currently seeing. But there's no room for interpretation here. Of course, you can expand on it. You know, only early childhood and, you know, only applications between 5 million and 10 million. Because you also don't want 700,000.